My name is Lauren, and I work as a nurse. My husband, Eric, is currently a full-time stay-at-home husband. Not long ago, Eric was working as a company employee, but he decided to quit his job because he didn't get along with his new boss. When Eric told me about his decision, I was quite angry that he quit without consulting me first. However, I tried to stay positive, thinking it might be better that he made the decision to leave before the job made him depressed. Although Eric doesn't bring in any earnings anymore, I have a steady job as a nurse. We are also fortunate to live in a house that my mother left to me when she passed away a few years ago. This means we don't have to worry about paying rent, which helps us make a good living without financial stress. Initially, I was very anxious and stressed about Eric not working. It felt strange and unsettling to be the sole breadwinner of the family. However, over time, I noticed that Eric was doing an excellent job with the housework. He took care of all the chores, cooked meals, and made sure everything was in order. Gradually, I got used to this new arrangement and even started to enjoy our life together more. One day, I came home from work to find my sister-in-law, Melissa, visiting our home. Eric greeted me cheerfully as I walked through the door. "Welcome home, honey. Hope you had a great day at work." "Oh, I think I forgot to tell you Melissa was coming over. I'm sorry I forgot to mention it." To be honest, I was a bit upset with Eric. He spoke as if he wasn't sorry about it at all. But then, I realized it had been a long time since I had seen Eric so cheerful and relaxed. "I see. It's totally fine. But from next time, could you please let me know in advance?" I replied, trying to stay calm. Eric smiled and agreed. He then turned to Melissa and suggested, "Maybe it's time for you to head home now." But Melissa didn't seem to agree. "Already? I don't want to go home yet. Since this house has enough space and room, I think I want to sleep over tonight," she said. I was taken aback by her response. It was unexpected and put me in a difficult position. I didn't want to be rude, but at the same time, I was hoping for a quiet evening after a long day at work. However, seeing Eric so happy and my sister-in-law being comfortable, I decided to go along with it for now. I smiled and said, "All right, Melissa, you can stay over tonight. But please, next time, let us plan it out a bit better." Melissa beamed with joy, and Eric looked relieved. We spent the evening together, and I tried to make the best of it, even though it wasn't what I had planned. I reminded myself that family is important, and making small sacrifices can lead to stronger bonds and happier moments. I looked at Eric's face, and in a panic, he told her, No, it's too sudden, Melissa. Please go home for today." When Eric said that, Melissa glared at me and went home angrily. "Why did Melissa come over today?" I asked. "It's quite a distance for her to come over." Actually, Melissa got a divorce recently. She has no place to go, so she went back to my parents' place. But their apartment is small, and they asked her to hurry up and find a job and give them money. She feels very unwelcome, and I feel sorry for her, Eric explained. I listened to my husband and got frustrated because I couldn't understand why he felt so sorry for her. Then Eric said, "I am sorry about today. I have been searching but couldn't get a job, and I wanted someone to listen to me for a change, so I let her in." I was angry at Eric for his selfish behavior but realized he needed this. I said, "Okay, it's true that it's better to have someone than being alone in that kind of situation. But next time, make sure you call me and have her leave before I get back, okay?" I wondered if I was spoiling Eric too much, but I made sure he knew to inform me next time, so I stopped talking about it further that day. 5 days later, Eric texted me while I was at work. "Hey, hope your day is going great at work. Melissa is saying that she wants to come over if that is okay with you. You're working until 8 p.m. today, right? I will make sure to have her leave before 8 p.m. It had only been 5 days since she last came over. Eric said he would make sure Melissa leaves before 8 p.m., but I worried about how long she planned to stay. I said, "Fine, make sure she leaves as soon as possible." I really didn't want Melissa to come over, but seeing Eric so happy about it, I agreed. I wanted Eric to enjoy his time with his sister, so I didn't think much about it. At work, it was such a busy day that I totally forgot Melissa was coming over. When I finally got home, she was still there. "Huh, why are you still here?" I asked, feeling a bit annoyed. Eric noticed my bad mood right away and panicked. "I'm so sorry. I've been asking Melissa for advice and lost track of time. Melissa will leave now." Eric turned to Melissa, and she sighed, saying, "Yes, yes, I will go home now." She started packing her things, acting annoyed, and then laughed. Her attitude really bothered me, so I said, "What's up with her? This isn't her house. Doesn't she have any sense?" Eric defended her, "You're saying too much. She came all the way here just to help me." I thought they could have met somewhere else, but I was too tired to argue. "You're right. Sorry I said too much. I'm just too tired today. I need to rest." Eric looked like he wanted to say more, but I was exhausted, so I went to bed without another word. The next day, I had a day off and was relaxing at home. Eric came up to me and said, "About yesterday, I'm sorry. I was wrong. I wanted you and Melissa to get along, but it wasn't a good time." Since we hadn't talked much lately, I realized how much he wanted us to get along. "Oh, that's the reason. I've been so busy that I haven't made time for us. I did say too much yesterday. I'm sorry." Eric was happy we talked it out. "Okay, today I'll make your favorite dish, meatball pasta." He started cooking, and then his phone rang. "Who's calling?" I asked. "Oh, it's Melissa. I wonder why," he said. I had a bad feeling about it, but told him, maybe it's urgent. Eric checked with me and then picked up the phone. I couldn't hear what Melissa was saying, but the call ended quickly. "How is Melissa?" I asked. "She said she has something to tell me, so she's coming over now," Eric replied. I was irritated because I didn't want to see her on my day off, but since she was already on her way, I couldn't say anything about it. Eric tried to lighten the mood by continuing with dinner. As he cooked, I sat on the couch, feeling a mix of frustration and exhaustion. I had hoped for a quiet day off, but it seemed that wasn't going to happen. I sighed and decided to make the best of it. Melissa arrived shortly after, knocking on the door with an urgency that matched my bad feeling. Eric let her in, and she walked straight into the living room without much of a greeting. "I have something important to tell you both," Melissa said, her voice serious. I exchanged a glance with Eric, who looked just as puzzled as I felt. "What is it, Melissa?" I asked, trying to keep my voice calm. She took a deep breath and said, "I've been offered a job in another city, and I'm thinking of taking it. But I need a place to stay until I get things sorted out." My heart sank. The last thing I wanted was more disruptions in our already hectic lives. But before I could respond, Eric spoke up. "That's great news, Melissa. Congratulations on the job offer," he said, his face lighting up. "But where do you plan to stay?" Melissa looked at both of us with hopeful eyes. "I was hoping I could stay here, just for a little while. I promise it won't be long." I felt a wave of frustration wash over me. We had just talked about needing more time for ourselves, and now this. But seeing the hopeful look on Melissa's face and Eric's supportive expression, I knew I couldn't outright refuse. "I understand your situation, Melissa," I said, choosing my words carefully. "But we need to set some ground rules if you're going to stay here. It can't be like last time. We need to know in advance when you'll be here, and you need to respect our space." Melissa nodded eagerly. "Of course, Lauren. I'll make sure to follow your rules. Thank you so much for understanding." Eric looked relieved, and I sighed, hoping we could manage this new arrangement without too much trouble. "All right, let's get through dinner first," I said. "Then we can talk more about the details." We sat down for the meal Eric had prepared, and the conversation was mostly light, though I couldn't shake the underlying tension. After dinner, we discussed Melissa's stay in more detail, setting clear boundaries and expectations. As I lay in bed that night, I couldn't help but feel a mix of worry and hope. I wanted to support